Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Good morning, everybody. It is Rise and Grind here at drroto.com. I am Johnny Danger. With me, of course, is Trust in Trevor. Another wild week in the NFL. Sir, how are you?
Not too bad. That was a pretty, almost a pretty lucrative game for me last night, but I did okay in the showdown slate.
Yeah, it was. I was doing well until Jake Ferguson quit catching the ball.
I think that the last interception that Brissett threw cost me a few $100, but I'm not going to complain because I've had a pretty good season. So my complaint, Doc said I can't complain, so I'm not going to. But yeah, I did have Brissett as my captain in most of my lineups last night. And luckily, he got that quarterback sneak, so that really set him apart from everybody else.
Yeah, I had Ferguson in all my captain spots, and if he would have had anything in the second half, I would have done pretty well. But oh well, what are you gonna do? All right, let's
point on a fumble too, I think.
Yeah. All right, well, sir, let's get into it. Thursday night football last week, we had the Ravens absolutely dismantled the Dolphins. The Ravens are just a different team when Lamar's there.
Oh yeah, they're so good. It'll be interesting to see what they do in Minneapolis this week. So. Yeah, I did pretty good with that one too because I had a lot of Likely in my lineups. Mm-hmm. Likely is going to be a player, he's not going to be big every week, but he's going to put out a big week one of these weeks. I want it to kind of happen this week because I'm going to be playing him in DFS, but I don't want it to happen because it's against my Vikings. But right. It is what it is. I show no allegiance to my team when it comes to making money in DFS.
Well, Baltimore's defense has been real bad. Now, of course, the Dolphins aren't always a challenge on the defensive side, but our boy Heat did say that the Ravens defense was going to start turning around, and they certainly did Thursday night. They did nothing against them. Waddle had an okay game. Dulcich got in there, which, the optimizers liked Dulcich a bit that night, and, he got a little something done there. Any interest in him at all?
No.
Yeah, there's just so many tight ends doing well this year, Trevor. I mean, any other year, a tight end putting up 10 points is worth throwing on a roster, but it's just not that way this year. Every team has a tight end scoring points this year.
Right. And another thing about Waddle, I think he had a 40-yard pass called back. He would have got the 100-yard bonus. It was a terrible call. Even the announcer said it was just a terrible call. They called some type of trip on Ollie Gordon, and he was actually not the ground. I don't even think he made contact with the defensive end, and they call him for a trip. So that was a big play in the game. That was a big turning point because they would have had first. The game was really close, and Miami would have got like first down and 10 at deep inside Baltimore territory. But as far as Dulcich, he's going to have a week here and there where he has a few points. But Waller was out. How long is Waller going to be out for? Is he coming back right away? I mean, Dulcich should be really non-existent. And like you said, there's so many good tight ends.
There is. Talk to me about that. Do you think that's just, the evolution of the NFL? Each team is getting more aggressive, going after just athletic, pass catching tight ends and just jamming up the middle with too many people to cover, and it's just being taken advantage of, or is it just kind of a fluke so far this year?
I think it's a little bit of both. There's a lot of really good tight ends out there, and you have really good athletic tight ends. They're usually covered by a linebacker, and you can really exploit that. And if you look at the big time receivers, the big guys like, Lamb's doing okay and Justin Jefferson's, he's okay, but they're not having them great years. The teams are really getting that outside coverage where your best receivers like JSN and Puka Nacua, they're a little bit different than those guys. It's all through that middle. So the teams that are getting them good receiving yards are splitting those middles, and tight ends, that's what they do.
For sure. So I don't know that there's anybody on the Ravens. I mean, maybe Keaton Mitchell has become the handcuff for Henry. Do you think?
I would think so. He's got a lot of juice. So I put it in the article last week to be picking him up if you needed him on the bench space. Because I do think if Henry goes out, that Keaton Mitchell would be the guy, and Hill would keep his role as the third down catching back.
Yeah, and talking about tight ends, I mean, you had Likely go 3 for 60. You had Kohler go 2 for 23 and a touchdown. You had Andrews go 2 for 22 and 2 touchdowns. It's all
what I liked about Likely and why I think he's okay is because he's in the game when they're down in the red zone. I mean, he was they threw to him a couple times in the end zone, and there was just a lot of pressure. And he's that guy that's in the back of the end zone where he has to get the 2 feet down by the goalposts. He's done that quite a bit. So I could see him doing that against the Vikings this week. Lamar creating some opportunity downfield against the Vikings. And, they don't have a lot of receiving weapons outside of Flowers. Andrews is good, but, they get 3 touchdowns from the tight end and none of them to Likely. And then who's the other tight end that came in late and got that touchdown? I think that's 2 weeks in a row he got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's Kohler, right?
Kohler, that's it. I was just hoping Likely would get 1 touchdown. But there's touchdowns coming for Likely eventually. And I would bet he gets 1 this week against the Vikings.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I mean, not against your Vikings, just for the points.
I'll be playing a lot of them in DFS. So as long as the Vikings are winning, I don't care. Well, depends on how much money it makes me. I can be bought and
you can be bought. I like it. All right, let's go over to Denver and Houston. We thought it'd be a pretty defensive game. It really was. Both defenses scored fine for you in fantasy. We got a little bit of action out of the Broncos because, Sutton got in the end zone. I think a lot of people plug and played R.J. Harvey after his big game the week before. He did really nothing on the ground, but he got involved 5 for 51 and a touchdown in the air. How much are you liking Harvey moving forward? You think they're going to start splitting him in more with Dobbins? Because Dobbins still got 15 carries.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a lot of the running game, but they do like to pass to him. This is 2 weeks in a row, and it's not like they're using him early enough too. So even the week before against Dallas, he scored, I think, in early second quarter or late first quarter. So, I mean, they're going to him. He's hard to start because you are relying on him to catch a touchdown pass. If he doesn't catch a touchdown pass, he's just not going to score. So he's hard to play. But with the bye weeks this week, he might be able to play. I have him as a handcuffed in my league with Dobbins, just to make sure. If you have Dobbins and you can find him, I would keep him. But I bet you he's not on any waiver wires at this point. The interesting thing about that game is that Stroud went out early because of he got hit, got concussed. Texans, man, they can't. Their red zone offense just stinks when they get near the goal line. Their offensive line doesn't do them any favors, and they just make too many penalties.
Yeah, no, it's true. But back on the Broncos, we had a 10 targets for Franklin this week. Now, he only caught 4 of them, but the Texans defense was just smothering. Sutton got that touchdown, but it was on his only catch out of 6 targets. So this is an outlier game. Both defenses were really good. But what do you think of Troy Franklin? I mean, he seems to be the guy number 2 right now. The week before.
I like Franklin a lot. This was the type of game they were going to target him because Stingley was on Sutton. The only reason why Sutton scored on Stingley was Stingley let him go thinking that there was a safety behind him, and there wasn't. So he snuck behind him and got that touchdown. So Franklin's going to have a lot of targets. The problem with the Denver receivers is that, Nix and the Broncos, they're chucking the ball downfield, which I like. But Nix is so inaccurate on the deep ball. He's chucking it downfield. There's no doubt about it. They'll take their shots, but he's just been really inaccurate. And that's why you'll see the targets, but you won't see the completions. But Franklin, he's a guy like we've seen. He could have a big stat line like he had the week before where he scored 2 touchdowns. So he's one of those, Denver receivers is going to be hard to figure out who's going to do well week to week. But
and then on the right there, Trevor, you still got Chubb and Mark splitting 50-50. That doesn't do any good to either of them on your fantasy teams.
No.
I thought Schultz was going to have a pretty good game because the Broncos cover the outside really well. Schultz did pretty darn good. He had 6 for 77. Nico's going to just keep getting the volume. It doesn't matter the matchup. I mean, he still put up almost 15 points. Being covered pretty well on the outside. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. I mean, Christian Kirk got back in the action with 8 targets, but did absolutely nothing with them.
We don't know who's going to start.
A lot of waiver wires. Trevor, are you interested in Kirk?
Maybe a little bit if you're desperate, especially if Stroud comes back. Maybe not so much Mills. I don't know where Stroud is going to be in concussion protocol this week. I think they have a pretty good matchup. So they play the Jaguars.
I think Schultz is on a lot of waiver wires too. But again, tight end is very deep this year. So
I'm waiting for my Schultz jersey to come. It should be here any day. I'm hoping it's here by tomorrow night.
I can't wait to see it on you. All right, let's talk about the game I thought was going to blow up and completely didn't, and really hurt me on my day is the Indianapolis game in Pittsburgh. Indy came back to earth hard, Trevor. They came back to earth hard.
Yeah, well, I predicted the Steelers to win. If you'd have told me the Steelers would score 27 points, and I love DK Metcalf, and he had a catch right out the bat, and he had 2 catches the whole day, 2 for 6 yards. I had him in every single DraftKings lineup, and I still made money because I had CMC and the running back Monangai and a lot of Bowers. So I was able to overcome the lineups. But if he would have had a great day, I probably would be maybe thinking about retiring.
You're right. Maybe.
But anyhow.
Jones threw 3 interceptions, but still threw for 342. I mean, his receivers came through. We were all over Pierce. We were all over Pittman on the week. They did well. They just couldn't score. They
couldn't score. They got down there and they turned the ball over. They also muffed a punt that led to points for Pittsburgh. Yeah, because Pittsburgh really didn't look that great offensively. I mean, they were okay.
No, I mean, look, when Jones throws 3 interceptions and fumbles the ball 3 times, it's hard to win the game, Trevor.
Yeah, just short fields for Pittsburgh. Colts were due for a clunker. I didn't like the point spread. They were only favored by 3. We had just seen them knock the snot out of a few teams. And then you've seen Pittsburgh get beat up pretty bad by the Packers on prime time. And it's like everybody was on the Colts. Usually when everybody's on one side, I don't like it. And I just had a feeling Pittsburgh was going to win, but Warren did get 2 touchdowns, so that was nice.
I mean, he did on 30 yards. They honestly they didn't have to do anything. The defense just kept taking the ball away, and so there's really just nothing of note. I mean, Calvin Austin, 5 catches, 56. He's on waiver wires a lot. He's a decent bye week fill-in. Nobody I'd hold on my lineup, but sadly, not enough going on in that game for me to care. Let's talk about the Packers and the Panthers. The Panthers squeak it out with a field goal at the end, which gave your Minnesota some hope after they beat the Lions, made the Lions fans feel less bad about their loss that I went to see in person, by the way, because the Packers lost. That whole division is kind of just gummed up at 5 wins. So, what do you think of this Panthers-Packers game? I was utterly disappointed in the Packers at home.
Yeah, I watched the game. I listened to Packer radio yesterday because I don't like listening to the Viking guys, especially after a win because they're too rah-rah. I like to listen to the Packers because they're realistic. And, boy, were they really cutting on the floor because they had some 4th down chances there. And then instead of kicking field goals, it was 4th and 6 at like the 8-yard line, and they went for it, and they didn't come close. I don't know. They turned a big – bad interception by Love. Now they lost Tucker Kraft with the ACL. They had, they had 3 long drives in the first half, and they came in with 6 points where they fumbled the ball away. It was just an ugly, ugly game for them. And Carolina didn't do nothing. They really didn't do much. They had 100 yards passing, but Rico Dowdle showed why he should be the man. And
Rico Dowdle absolutely destroyed, which was crazy. And Doc was all over him. He told us all week long Rico Dowdle was gonna be the guy this week. And he's been kind of on the Carolina defense recently, saying that they're playing better ball.
Yeah, they're playing better ball. They played pretty good all year. I mean, they shut out Atlanta and Bijan Robinson, which was pretty good. And that's when they had London. And then they couldn't stop Buffalo, but Buffalo, I don't know, they're just pretty darn good at times. So, yeah, Carolina's they're a yo-yo team. There's a lot of teams in this NFC. That's just the NFL where you don't know what to expect week to week. One week they look really good, one week they look really pedestrian. But their defense has been pretty solid for most of the year. So
yeah, Carolina seemed to play just kind of clock management this whole game. They just slowed it down. They ran the ball with Rico. They didn't try to do too much. I think that was the key to success. On the other side, do you have any interest in Musgrave when you lose Kraft?
Yeah.
I have Kraft in a couple teams, and he's been so good, I don't have a backup. So now, I am scrambling a little bit for a tight end.
They're going to target Musgrave. Musgrave was a talented prospect coming out. He just couldn't beat Kraft. So he's not as good as Kraft, but he's going to get targeted there. That's for sure. And we had another Packer injury. The rookie wide receiver Golden got hurt. So I don't know what his status will be. So they might have to use a tight end more. They're going to be playing Philadelphia on Monday night. So I think Musgrave's a guy you can pick up going forward.
I think so too. And Christian Watson kind of got right back into his role next to Dobbs. Now that he's back, Dobbs got his 10 targets. Dobbs looks like the guy. He's pretty much the only guy over there in the wide receiver core that I'm interested in on a week-to-week basis, to be honest.
Yep, that's about it. And, Jacobs didn't have a really big game either. So when he's not running big games, Love seems to struggle. So I don't get it. They like to throw the ball deep, and Carolina played soft zone. Just let them come down the field, and then let them make mistakes when they get close. So
yeah. We got a comment from Michael Hart Jr. here. Says he had a really exciting sweat last night. Tell us more, sir. Tell us more. Let's keep on moving. Let's go over to the 49ers. They go 6-3, 34-24 against the Giants. Now, I'm not totally surprised that, they beat the Giants. The Giants aren't very good. They lost their number one wide receiver. They lost their rookie running back. But I am surprised that the Niners just keep dropping like flies and they keep competing in games, Trevor. They lost yet another defender. CMC is single-handedly holding this team together.
CMC, and then they got good contributions from Juwan Jennings this week, too. So that really helped. We're just waiting on that big Kittle week to happen. When that happens, hope maybe it'll happen against the Rams. I don't know. He's going to have to pass block, though, because the Rams are a big pass rushing team. So,
I think they're going to get Purdy back next week. I think that's all signs are pointing to Purdy coming back next week.
I would think
probably
so.
Good for Kittle.
Yeah, I would think so too, but they're going to want to really protect him because the Rams will come after him. And the Rams are going to be out for blood after losing at home to him earlier this week when they were kind of expected to win handedly. Sure. But yeah, it's McCaffrey's team. I mean, he's showing you why he's been the best fantasy running back in football for a long time. And, as far as consistency goes, I mean, he's as consistent as they cut 20-some points. He's so good in the passing game. Now he's scoring touchdowns, running and receiving. I had him in just about every DFS lineup I had last week, which really saved my bacon considering, like I said, I had Metcalf in a lot of them. So, yeah, Metcalf's just as steady as it goes. Purdy's coming back. What about Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah,
what's going on with him? Is he coming back anytime soon? That's what I want to know because I have him in a ton of seasonal leagues. He's just sitting there, and I need that help.
Yeah, I mean, he's hurt, man, and they've been keeping him out, and I'm starting to lose faith that he is what I want him to be as a 49ers fan. So I need him back. I need Purdy back. I need to see this team healthy. I think I wouldn't call them a fraudulent 6-3. They're playing tough games. They're winning close matchups. CMC's on fire, but man, I am worried about them. They're looking at Ayuk not back till maybe week 12 or 14, if at all. There's really no news on him. Pearsall, I don't know. There's a lot of up in the air here. Michael answered us here. He said that he was down 12 going against Aubrey, the kicker. He had McBride going, and that was it. And he pulled off a win by 0.6 points. Well done, Sarah. Well done. Sarah.
Yeah, you're lucky that Dallas on their first drive last night had 4th and goal at the 4 and decided not to kick.
Yeah. He said right here, going for it on 4th and not taking the points, losing the 1 point for the missed 68-yarder from Aubrey gave him the win. So pretty good stuff there. I love it, Michael. I love it. For the 49ers, it is who it is. Kendrick Bourne is really non-existent. Jennings played a little bit better, but it was just McCaffrey. There's nothing else there. Jackson Dart put up enough points for us in fantasy. He put up, 24, 25 points in fantasy. He's got another really nice matchup next week. We thought that we'd see more Singletary than Tracy. We talked about it. You and I kind of did not like the Tracy pick on our Saturday night show because we said, look, just when you think he's going to get the ball, that stupid coaching staff's going to give it to Singletary. And it's exactly what they did. Wan'Dale Robinson did catch 9 balls on his 11 targets. So, we knew that he was good in the optimizer. That's enough points.
What did he get, 50 yards?
He did get 50 yards. Yeah. Theo Johnson gets in the end zone again. I don't know. The Giants are kind of a mess, but I like them next week, Trevor. I'm not going to lie.
I kind of like them. I mean, I always like Dart, but I don't think you can play him with anybody if you're playing him on DFS. There's no real player. Robinson's okay in seasonal leagues if you need him because he's going to get the targets. Hopefully, he can get a touchdown for you. But there's something about the Bears defense when they play at home. It's just a little bit different than when they're on the road. But I like Dart because of his running ability. I'm worried about Dart, though. He's taking a lot of hits that he's got to learn that he doesn't need to take these hits. And what's hurting him now is not having that big-time receiver. So it'd be nice to see him next year. Hopefully Scadaboo's back, and hopefully Malik Neighbors is healthy, and that offense can get better with some offensive line improvements. But as far as fantasy, I just hope he doesn't take a big lick and gets hurt.
Yeah, so I have a matchup where I have in seasonal choose between him and Caleb Williams next week, and I don't know. It's gonna be a discussion all the way to the end to figure out who I'm going to play next week. So.
Yeah, it will be.
Mm-hmm. Caleb had a big week this week, but man, that Bears team is up and down. But we'll get to that, won't we? All right, let's keep on moving here. Where shall we go? How about we talk about the Vikings victory in Detroit that I got to go witness myself. Thanks to my good buddy handed me a ticket last minute. I really appreciate that. I wore no Vikings gear because I was respectful. Sir. But
I would have sent it to you.
What an interesting game. I mean, Laporta goes right down the field, scores a 30-yarder on 4th and 4 to start the scoring. And heck of a game out of Laporta, at least the very beginning. I don't know, man. This was a weird game. I mean, it scored a lot of points. I feel like Detroit is winning because they are so damn talented, despite how terrible their offensive coordinator seems to be calling plays.
Yeah, I don't. They're just a talented team. They can get over that type of. If you think their coordinators are bad, I think they can get over because of their talent. When you got Gibbs and you got St. Brown. You're going to beat a lot of teams. Now, this game here, they were showing Gibbs, he couldn't handle the Vikings blitz. The Vikings stopped the run because, when they have Van Ginkel and Cashman both playing, they're so much better defensively. And then they were sending all these blitzes. And actually, they kind of screwed up a few times on some of those drives. They had Goff sacked, and they were tackling him up high, and I was getting frustrated. Then they let a 3rd and whatever, and Rodgers takes the wrong angle, lets them get a first down. But I don't know that they just couldn't run the football. Detroit's a lot. If Goff doesn't have that running consistency, he can really struggle because teams will come after him. You have to put pressure on the guy. I hate when teams sit back. I wish the Vikings would have played this way against Philadelphia when they played the Eagles on third. They sat back and then blitz, and then they let Hurts finally find the guy. I'm a firm believer that you have to put on pass rush to win in the NFL, and you have to blitz. So they blitzed at the right time, and Detroit couldn't pick it up. But Gibbs struggled picking up the linebacker. Or maybe that's why Montgomery got more touches than he did because he could handle the blitz. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just seemed to me both teams kept trying to throw to the end zone. It just seemed to me they kind of abandoned the dink and dunk and chunk yardage and just started throwing long. It was a strange game.
Well, on Minnesota's side, things really changed with Aaron Jones is really controlling that game on offense. He was running the ball well, and he was had some nice catches. Then he went out with an AC sprain, I guess, in his shoulder. So,
if he misses some time, you back in on Mason, or you think Mason's run his course on the year?
I'm not really backing on Mason. You could just tell how much better Jones is when Jones is healthy than Jordan Mason. Mason's okay. It's a tough matchup this week against Baltimore. The Vikings are going to have to throw the football once again this week. We'll see what type of pass protection. Hopefully their center is back from concussion protocol or IL or whatever he was on, but hopefully he's back. But
so my feelings on JJ McCarthy, Trevor. What did you think out of his start here? I mean, he was pressured a ton. He threw an interception. He got 5 sacks. His first 2 drives, he looked like a quality quarterback, and then after that, he looked deer in the headlights for most of the game.
Yeah, he was under a lot of pressure. I'm just happy he found a way to win, and he made the right pass, right decision with Naylor to win the game. But yeah, I don't know what I think. I have to see more. We'll just put it that way. But I was happy. He looked more confident. Anyway, I wish he would, when he's outside of the pocket, would throw the ball away more instead of taking the hit and taking the yard loss. But just throw the ball away with it, man. But yeah, I was happy they won because I wasn't expecting them to.
Fair enough. Let's see. Let's just keep moving on here. We will go to the Chargers and the Titans. I had a lot of Vidal. You told me not to. You were right. I was wrong again, like usual. It was a weird game for the Chargers. The Tennessee Titans defense was like the number 1 scoring DFS defense on the week, which was wild. And they lost the game, which was wild.
And the optimizers liked them a little bit.
Yeah,
on Sunday morning, they did.
Yeah.
I had them in a few lineups.
What a weird game. If you go look at the stats, it was under 250 yards offense for the Titans. If you look at just the stats minus the defensive scoring, this looks like an absolute rout by the Chargers, but it wasn't. The Titans didn't look good at all, except for the defensive side.
Yeah, it would have been a rout had there was a pick 6 right out the bat, and I didn't see the other defensive. I just knew they scored another defensive touchdown. I was wondering why one of my lineups was near the top right away, and it was like I looked and I had the Titans defense, and I didn't know I had them because I let the optimizer.
I had the pick 6 right away, and then Kymir DK ran a punt back.
Oh, DK ran the punt back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, it was an interesting game, and then you got the touchdown to Matlock, which really helped all of our fantasy teams and DFS lineups on the other side. I don't even know who that is, man. I had to look him up. He's got a wild profile picture. You should check it out.
But it was one of those games where they were just passing the ball and they spread the ball out to everybody, and Herbert ran one in. But that's why I like playing Herbert without his receivers for the most part, unless I know. Yeah. There's a really, really good matchup. And
Quentin Johnson got back involved again, which was nice after his goose egg.
Yeah. So there's really nothing more you can really say about the Chargers. It's just going to be this way going forward. You're going to pick your spots. Hampton, I guess, isn't coming back till after their bye week in week 12.
So early December is what I saw.
We know Vidal's still going to be in there for a while.
He is, but Jarrett Peterson got involved quite a bit, which was irritating as somebody who played a lot of this week.
I just didn't have a good feeling about Vidal because I thought he would score some points. I didn't think he would get that low of points. So that's another thing that helped me in DFS is that even though I had Metcalf, I stayed away from that one because if I would have played him too, I probably would have lost my A. Yeah,
it wasn't great. I mean, Peterson, fine. I mean, you can always use depth if you have big benches. If you're playing Dynasty, never hurts to have a guy hanging around. Really nothing to note on Tennessee. They got a pick 6 and a punt return back, and that was their entire game. So you can still play against Tennessee. Everybody, I'm not interested in Tennessee players. Until they say, "Hey, Spears, you're getting 24 catches." I just got nothing. I don't want them. I want nothing to do with them. All right, let's keep talking. Let's go to the Falcons. Let's go to the Patriots. The Patriots squeaked one out 24-23. But Drake London, man, I mean, for his price and going 9 for 118 and 3 touchdowns. What a game out of London.
Yeah, and what sucks is that he was on Justin's sheet on our Saturday night any given entry show, and me and you kind of poo-pooed it because you hear he's going up against Christian Gonzalez. Well, forget that. He showed why he is the man. So, man, I wish I would have had him instead of my DK Metcalf, and we have to give Fuego Steve a lot of props because that was his play of the week. So
yeah, I mean, it was every time I look down, because I have London in one of my fantasy leagues. So every time he does something big, I get, oh, big catch. Oh, a touchdown. I just kept shaking my head. And you and me were talking back and forth because I said, Trevor, I feel like this DK is gonna do us like Bijan did last week. And it was pretty close. But
yeah, it was a stinker.
I mean, Bijan didn't really do a whole lot. He got 8 catches for 50 yards, of course, but his running was not there. Patriots shut the run down pretty well, so I was kind of off him to begin with. But he did put it up in the passing game. So if you played Bijan, of course, he got you there. Pitts was fine. He missed a couple of passes he should have caught. He was okay. I was big no on Henderson, and he didn't do squat. You had, what's his name, Terrell Jennings get the touchdown in almost the same amount of carries.
Yeah,
Patriots are a gritty team, man. I mean, Drake May alone is keeping them in games.
Yep, Drake May, he's the man. I mean, Henderson, he wasn't the worst play because he did have a few catches for yardage, not getting the touchdown. That stunk, but yeah, May is doing good. Now Boute's hurt. We don't know if he's going to be able to play this week, so we have to keep our eye on that because I think they are in New England. So I'm not. Oh no, they're not New England. They're in Tampa. So I'm expecting Tampa to win this game some way somehow. So
Well, what do you think about waiver wire darling right now, Pop Douglas? He had 4 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. He's going to get bid on. Are you interested in him?
Well, he's worth a shot because if Boute's out, they got to have production from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Tampa's a team you generally like to throw against. You don't run against Tampa. So,
yeah, I'm interested in Douglas. I mean, honestly, Trevor, May is throwing just an absolute gorgeous deep ball this season. I mean, it's pretty. So, if they can keep the run game going and stop them from, playing too good a defense on the backside, I think Douglas could have another good game. I mean, you can throw on Tampa.
Yeah, Drake May. I think Caleb Williams will be okay for the Bears, but just another mistake by the Bears by not taking May.
Yeah. I don't know. May wouldn't be doing any better in Chicago than Caleb. They got other problems.
I don't know about that.
Maybe.
May's got.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's in pretty much all my dynasty leagues. So, all right, let's talk about the Bears. This was the game you kind of needed a bunch of pieces of, except for, sir, if you played Rome Odunze.
Unreal. I watched this game twice.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. My buddy asked me if he was hurt or inactive because you think you see all the points being scored. You're thinking, well, Odunze must be doing really good. Nope.
Yeah, no. Manon guy was awesome. It would have been better if he got in the end zone for us. Loveland, Doc was talking about Loveland all day Sunday. He just begged people to play Loveland. It was awesome. I played a lot of OZ in some leagues where I'm just devastated by bye weeks and injuries. I played him a little bit in DFS. He got us in the end zone. Caleb Williams ran for 53. It was a good game out of the Bears, but of course, it's the Bengals who just traded yet another defensive player, and they're going to be even worse going forward.
Yeah. Everything's a little inflated by the Bears. Zacchaeus had a pretty good game too. So, anytime you play the Bengals, expect your team to really play well offensively.
Yeah.
Defensively, and the Bears almost Bengals just scored way too quick there after they got that onside kick. They went down the field. They should have tried to score with about 5 seconds left instead of leaving almost a minute because I figured the Bears were going to come back and win. They converted a 4th down. I didn't think they'd do it that way. I mean, at that point, you probably are better off letting Colston or not Colston. Letting them score a touchdown at the end there, the tight end, Loveland. They're better off letting him score the touchdown than to tackle him at 30 because you're going to lose anyway. But
Mike says he waited on QB with a lot of May and Daniel Jones. That worked out. If you waited on QB this year and you got Drake May and Daniel Jones, yeah, it definitely worked out. I did that same thing and got a lot of Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr., and that has not worked out most weeks for me. But Caleb Williams did this week. Oh, yeah. I like that DJ Moore threw one pass and caught one pass, both for touchdowns. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. But DJ Moore, he's not being used that much either. So
He's really not. On the other side, Flacco threw 4 touchdowns, threw 2 interceptions, but he threw for damn near 500 yards, Trevor. What a crazy game. Chase Brown did nothing on the ground, but got heavily involved in the air. Josevich, God, how many passes did he throw? 47 passes. Of course, there's going to be some scoring on the other side because the Bears defense has also been terrible. I don't know what to think about these Bengals. They give up a lot of points. They score a lot of points. All their players are owned, so there's nobody really to go out and grab. I'm not interested in Josevich. How do you say that? Josevich?
Yeah. Josevich, whatever. Yeah, I'm not interested in him either. The Bengals offense had struggled a little bit earlier in that game, and Higgins made a heck of a touchdown catch on that not many people would make that catch. And then the fourth quarter, they had been doing okay, and then the fourth quarter, the Bears got up and they just let them come up and down the field. And I don't know what to think about the Bears defense. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it was bad. Bengals aren't playing this week, so we have really nobody to pick on.
Yeah, right. Is Tennessee playing? We can still pick on them.
They're not playing either.
Oh, what are we going to do, Trevor? What are we going to do?
We'll figure it out.
Let's talk about another barn burner. We had Jacksonville and we had Vegas go 30-29 in overtime. That was an interesting game. We thought we'd get a lot out of ETN. He was fine. He got 84 yards, but he did absolutely, nothing that we wanted him to do. I really kind of thought that they'd run all over Vegas. Bowers was the only bright note on the Vegas side. Genty did okay. He got in the end zone for you on a catch. This was a strange game for fantasy points for a game that put up 60 points, Trevor. We saw Parker Washington score for our cheat sheet Saturday night. That was nice. But Tootin got in. Lawrence ran 2 in himself. Didn't throw any touchdowns. It was a weird game being 59 points and not a ton of the right guys scoring outside of Bowers.
There was a lot more, but on the Raiders side, it was just all Bowers and whatever little bit Genty was having. It's really frustrating because the receivers just aren't getting involved. And you watch Geno throw to these receivers, and it's like in the dirt, in the ground, not catchable balls. It's just sad to see. On the other side, Lawrence, he looks okay at times, but he makes bonehead plays too.
But ETN ownership really frustrating watching Lawrence run 2 in on the goal line.
Well, that too, and now Brian Thomas Jr. is hurt, and he wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot anyway. He's been a really big disappointment in fantasy across the board. So,
sure has.
Parker Washington, but Dynamic Brown might be a guy you want to pick up this week, especially if Thomas is out. Now they're playing the Texans, who do have a pretty good defense. But Brown might get the targets depending on what Stingley does. If he gets on Parker Washington, I'm not expecting a good game from the Jaguars, but Brown might be a game you can a receiver you might be able to pick up and plug and play if you're desperate.
Yeah, there's going to be a few good players on bye, so you never know there. I did make mention that I thought Geno Smith was going to have a bounce back DFS game, and he did. So if you were playing, was it $4,800 Geno Smith, whatever the heck he was at? 284 and 4 touchdowns scored you enough points, but there wasn't anything really here. Oh, what's next here? Shall we go to the Saints and the Rams? 10-34, the Rams dominated. We knew they'd dominate. They were my favorite defense on the week. Had to pay up to get them DFS wise, but I had them a lot in a lot of seasonal Rams. I picked them up last week, ready for this week. So that was good. Kyron Williams did Kyron Williams things. Puka and Devontae did their thing. That's it for that team, man. It's Williams, it's Puka, it's Adams.
Yeah, and if you're desperate, tight end Higbee scored 2 out of the last 3 weeks. But I think San Francisco, aren't they pretty good against the tight end?
Generally speaking. Theo Johnson, I think, got in on him. So
yeah, well. You have to be pretty desperate for Higbee still because he's not getting a lot of volume, even though he is scoring.
Yeah, there's a lot of tight ends out there. It's tough to play Higbee.
But what do you think they do against the Niners this week? You think they get revenge?
I think so. I mean, this Niner team is just so banged up. Even if Purdy comes back, that toe injury makes it really hard to be as mobile as you should be. I don't know about Pearsall. I really thought Pearsall was going to play this week, and then he didn't. So
yeah, once I saw he was on the injury report come Wednesday, Thursday, I knew he was pretty much done when he wasn't practicing. But yeah, but back to as far as the Rams, they're cut and dry. You know who's going to get the ball.
Yeah. And I think, they know each other well enough. They can do their best to scheme against CMC. Now, everybody does their best to scheme against CMC. But at this point, the defense is getting so banged up in 49er land, man, that it's I'm gonna have a hard time not seeing the Rams put up at least 3 touchdowns and a field goal, minimum 24 points, maybe more. I don't have a lot of hope for my Niners next week. Heat will like that. Heat's a big Rams.
Well, you didn't like them last time, and they were 7.5-point dogs, and they ended up winning outright. So
they did.
The Rams did kind of give the game away late in that one with a fumble, and I think they got stopped at the 1 yard. I don't know what happened. They got stopped at 1 yard. They kept running that play to death.
Absolutely nothing to talk about on the Saints side.
No,
abandon all hope, ye who enter a Saints in your lineup.
Are they playing this week?
Do it. Don't do it.
Who are the Saints playing? Can we pick on the Saints this week?
Man, it's Tuesday morning. I barely finished my first.
We're playing the Panthers. So Rico Dowdle, fire up Rico Dowdle.
There you go, Rico Dowdle. All right, Trevor, we'll get to the late game here in the afternoon. We had the Kansas City versus Buffalo. Josh Allen continues to just be dominating them in the regular season. We'll see if they match up in the playoffs again. We played some Mahomes. He was fine. He didn't throw any touchdowns. He didn't play a bad game. They just couldn't get anything going. I liked Josh Allen going into this week on his own, playing solo. I brought it up Saturday night. Two rushing touchdowns always helps that. Cook looked good, but again, damn it, Cook owners are just tired of seeing Josh Allen run it in.
Yeah, and Kincaid came through.
Yeah, we liked Kincaid a lot. Doc and I loved Kincaid. Shakir got a good amount of targets and played a decent game. The guys that we thought were going to score did all right. Rice failed to put up 20 points. I really thought he would. He didn't get in the end zone. It's always fun to watch these teams play, but it really just kind of, unless you had Josh Allen and Kincaid, there was nothing really fun to watch about this game.
Mahomes was, Mahomes was dealing with a lot of pass rush, and the secondary from Buffalo played really well. And with the Chiefs not being able to run the ball well against a really bad usually a bad Bills run defense, they just don't have that running game. They just don't. So the pass rush got to him. Yeah, Rice was having a really good game in the fourth quarter. I think he only had 1 catch. I was hoping he would get that 1 more catch to get into that 100-yard bonus, because I knew he got his touchdown was a rushing touchdown. Yeah. So the Chiefs will be fine, but maybe this is the signal that they're not going to be as good, because this was a pretty dominant win in my opinion. I know the score was closer than it looked. The Bills dominated this football game, in my opinion. The Bills got a little too conservative there.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move over to Seattle and Washington. Washington loses Jaden Daniels. They're done. They weren't great to begin with, but Mariota can't get the job done. If you need a quarterback, Mariota is going to be running for his life and putting some yards in the ground. I have him in a couple of 2 quarterback leagues because you have to. But Darnold, man, he just keeps slinging. 330 yards, 4 touchdowns. Do you really wish that they had kept him in Minnesota, Trevor?
No. Here, I'll take that back. If the Vikings would have drafted better and could afford to pay a quarterback, then yes. But the way their drafting has been so bad, they've had to use that free agency money at their positions. But we'll see what Darnold does when it counts. But he's looking really good. Commanders' defense is so bad, but I don't want. But Darnold's been good all year. Don't get me wrong. But this Commanders' defense was really bad. They were talking about how they were worried about getting burnt deep. The ball would be snapped. He could just turn around like me and you playing catch, and then get somebody tackle me. Just throw the ball to me 15 yards out on the field, and somebody tackle me from behind. So Yeah, I mean, there's some regret not having Darnold and Daniel Jones especially when you were looking at Wentz. But maybe now with this new McCarthy looked a little better this week. Maybe it'll turn around for us. But
yeah. So, what do you think about Torrey Horton? I mean, he got 2 touchdowns in. Obviously, Kupp didn't play, so it was easy to say that we saw that coming. But he looked all right. He looked elusive. He caught all 4 balls that got thrown to him. Do you like him? I mean, maybe not this year in a regular league, but what do you think of him going forward next year, maybe even?
Oh, I like him because he's got a lot of ability. You've seen what he can do with Kupp's out, and he's had some good games earlier. Seattle's pounded a lot of teams too, where they haven't really needed to fire the ball all over, and they go to JSN so much. But I could see them getting rid of Kupp in the offseason and having Horton as our number 2, and Horton's just going to get better and better. He's a rookie, so I think he's just going to get better and better.
Yeah,
they got a lot of good stuff there in Seattle because they got that Arroyo with a tight end too. That's not just Barner. So
no, Arroyo is somebody that we like his talent a lot. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for tight ends. We've had a couple of great rookie tight ends the last few years with Laporta and Bowers and people like that, but it really traditionally takes time for tight ends to come around. But Horton might be on your waiver wires, maybe. I know a lot of people picked him up because Kupp was going to be out, and the Commanders can be destroyed. But if he's there, I mean, I'd throw a little bit on him. I'd put a little shot to him like that. You see Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, the most frustrating fantasy duo in all of football in the backfield, because they just will continually score the exact same amount of points every single week.
And the problem is, too, when they get down inside the 5, they can't score. No matter who's running it, they're not scoring. So, well, Charbonnet did score, I think, against the Texans a couple weeks ago. But all in all,
yeah, no good. I'm really not interested in anything in the Commanders. Jaden Daniels going out really hurts them. I mean, their number 1 rusher was Chris Rodriguez this week, which was silly. Bill is fine, but if they don't have any offense pulling people away from the box, they're not going anywhere. Debo's old, Ertz is old. I mean, this team is just old.
And they're talking about McLaurin not playing again next week, and they're playing the Lions. They're going to be playing from behind. They're not going to be able to run the ball. Mariota's going to be running for his life. I can't imagine them not get blown out.
Man, Terry didn't want to play for this team earlier in this year, and you see why.
They paid him, though.
They did. Poor guy. Poor guy. All right, buddy. We got one more game to go, and it was last night's game. Dallas just was bad at home. They're just so bad. Right when you think that they're going to put up some points, they do absolutely freaking nothing. They looked bad. They just look bad.
Turnovers, sacks, fumbles, drop passes. Arizona, they're another one of those teams that are so up and down. I picked Arizona to win. I figured they were going to win that game last night. I know a lot of people thought Dallas, the wins that they've had are fraudulent.
Yeah, I mean, when you can go into Dallas with Jacoby Brissett and DeMarcado as your 2 stars and win that game, it's just a sad state.
And even on the 3rd and longs, I mean, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 16. I mean, they're just Brissett's completing the passes. Now, if I'm Arizona, I'm telling Murray, you take a seat, and I'm riding this Brissett thing for a while. But it'll be interesting to see if they bring back Murray.
Yeah, I would be interested to see that as well. I think Brissett gives them a better chance to win, but
he's a heck of a lot better for us fantasy players because he just seems to get McBride and Harrison, and he puts the ball on them where they can catch it. Where Murray, I've always said Murray's too short and he's just not as accurate as Brissett. But Brissett has time. He's always been fine. Problem with Brissett, he's always played for really bad football teams. I mean, he's played for some of the worst football teams you're ever going to see. I always thought in the back of my mind when Minnesota was going through problems at quarterback, hey, let's get Brissett in here. We got some weapons, and he was a little bit more mobile back then too.
Yeah. I mean, really, Darnold had that same kind of history too, right? All this talent coming out of college and just kind of in bad situation after bad situation. So
Same thing with
I don't know. I
Baker
mean,
Mayfield.
the guys that we needed to do something on Dallas got their targets, Trevor. They just couldn't convert them to touchdowns. I mean, Lamb got 12 targets, Pickens 9, Ferguson 7. I mean, you got everything you wanted out of the offense other than scoring.
And then Flournoy got the touchdown. Was it Flournoy?
Yeah. Yep.
He got the touchdown. I was like, ew.
Yep. It was ugly. It wasn't fun. Williams fumbled, Ferguson fumbled, Pickens fumbled too, didn't turn it over. Prescott got intercepted. It was a gross game.
And then they weren't turning the ball over. Dallas made a big play. They had a couple just obvious holding calls too. Offensive holding that were called back some nice plays. Williams looked really good. They just, like I said, they were just sacked or playing from behind, or they had a holding penalty. So,
all right, buddy. Well,
so
we've done it. We've talked about the games. There's a few people we mentioned on waiver wires. Go check it out. This was clearly way too early for me, sir, and way too late for you. I feel our energy was not great today, but we'll do better for you next week.
Well, yeah, I worked nights last night, so I'm ready for bed.
I did 12 hours on the road yesterday, so I'm not quite awake yet. But that's all right. We got tomorrow night with you and Doc, maybe me. Sometimes I join on Wednesdays with the first look. We got, Heat Override putting out all kinds of stuff. We got Friday Night Lights. We got Saturday night with Any Given Entry. We got Sunday morning in Discord with Doc and I. Am I going to be there this Sunday? I forget. What's this Sunday? Let me look. I'll be here this Sunday. I will not be there the following Sunday. So come check us out. Go to drroto.com. Put in your promo code WIN for 10% off. And hopefully we all keep giving great advice and everybody keeps winning, Trevor.
Yeah, let's win some money this week.
That's right. All right. You go to bed. I'm going to go to work. All right. We'll see you later, guys. Maybe. Hold on.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.